Hello, everyone. Before we dive into the topic, I want to return for a moment to the shape of our Earth as depicted in Freemason illustrations. There are many more details and hidden symbols in them than we can see at first glance, and it is also related to life on Earth. We have seen this illustration before. The Earth is in the middle and the Sun is above it. The Earth stands on pillars. Here are 2, but in reality there are 8. Each pillar is anchored in a stone block. Let's look at the details. On the left, it looks like the Earth, but it is probably a symbol of a dragon. On the right, we see 7 points. Are they 7 stars, 7 hills, 7 horns, or 7 angels? All of these represent the 7 spiritual leaders of the 7 world religions. We will explain the meaning of the 7 hills, stars, and horns later. And here is the pyramid under which the biblical mountain, our Earth, is hidden. The pyramid probably serves as a mirror or grid. The pyramid, representing the Earth, is placed inside a cube shaped like a book. And if you look closely, you will see that it is the Holy Bible. Let's look at the blocks that support the columns. There are numbers here. On the left, it is 3, 7, 3, and 4. When we add these numbers together, we get 17. That is 1 plus 7. That is 8, and it is also the symbol for infinity. Eternal life, which we will talk about in this series. On the right, we see the numbers 1, 7, 5, and 4. Together, they again add up to 17. The Earth stands on a chessboard, and the chessboard is most likely a symbol of the virtual world. 1s and 0s, pixels, whatever you want. And here we see the Earth's pool. Lying in the pool are a man and a woman, Adam and Eve, the sun and the earth. The figure flying out of the pool is probably the human soul in the form of an angel. This is a symbol of the spirit that was created by the union of a couple in the pool. But before this moment arrives, the soul has a long journey of incarnations ahead of it. In this medieval illustration, we see a biblical mountain. This is Earth. On the left is the red sun, Adam, and on the right is the moon, Eve. The entire scene appears to take place in an enclosed space, but the pyramid is not marked here. And the last illustration of Earth. At the bottom, we see a lamb and an open book with 7 seals, as described in the Bible. The 7 seals symbolize the 7 mysteries of our world. In the middle section, we see the Earth pool again. To the left of the pool lies a winged bull. I believe that this symbol represents life energy, just like the green twigs and leaves used extensively in sacred buildings. This time, we don't see the Earth as a biblical mountain in the pool, but there is a pyramid under which our world is hidden. To the right of the pyramid and the pool, we see a winged lion. This is a symbol of the son, of Adam. Notice this illustration. While the sun moves across the sky, the moon bathes in water. That is, in the earth's pool. That is Eve. The lion has 7 stars on its body. On the left is the eagle as a symbol for earth. Above the earth there are 7 eternal lights, 7 stars, 7 religions, 7 angels.
The mystery of the 7 stars you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden lampstands. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches.
It's time for today's topic. Does the soul exist? The human soul is the true and real part of yourself that mainstream science still denies. You must realize that each of you is composed of 2 parts. The spirit, which is enclosed in the physical body as a carrier, an avatar. It is something like your taxi, which you must maintain, repair, and refuel. But cars also end up in the scrapyard, just like your body. Human duality is also indirectly mentioned in the Bible in Matthew 24:40b-21.
Then 2 will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left.
Jesus is also referred to as Lord of the Spirits in some texts. How is that possible? If quantum mechanics is correct and works throughout the universe, then the world is crazy, as a wise man once said. Look closely at this Freemason illustration. There is a stretcher with the deceased, and on the right, the soul is departing as a glowing cloud. In the upper left corner is the Sumerian symbol of a winged orb. That's a human orb. Under the winged orb are Egyptian hieroglyphs. We can see 2 cartouches and the cross of life. That is what archaeology cannot explain to you. Egypt is referred to in the Bible as a great city, and a great city is the whole earth. Egypt, as part of the African territory, is interpreted in the Bible as the square of a great city. Notice the capital of this column. This is Egyptian architecture. But the departure of the soul from the body does not always look like this. As we see in the illustrations, we cannot see it. But digital recordings reveal much more. Many people who have returned from the other side say that they passed through a tunnel of light. It is very likely that this is not a shutdown of the brain, as mainstream materialists claim, but rather that the person's consciousness withdraws into this sphere of light and leaves the body. Lights that are doomed to incarnate for thousands of years until the Platonic year has probably passed. That is approximately 25,800 years. And in this case, the Bible most likely refers to the time limit that has expired. Do you remember the Great Pyramid of Giza or the Sphinx? Their actual age is estimated at 30,000 years or more. Based on the fact that these structures show significant water erosion to a height of several meters, this means that they may have survived a cataclysmic event that completely changed the world and all life on Earth. This catastrophe was probably caused by the pillars of the earth shifting from their places, as mentioned in the Book of Enoch. These pillars rotate the Earth's pool at long intervals and bring an end to every developed civilization. So thoroughly, in fact, that this system leaves room for the theory of humans evolving from bacteria in a short period of time. Take another look at the illustration on the right. This figure has its hands shaped like half a swastika. This is a symbol of rotation or shift and is most likely related to the movement of the columns at the bottom of the illustration. However, the columns may have an energetic character. In the immediate vicinity of Giza, there is a network of tunnels called the Tomb of the Birds. In the photo, notice the glowing flying orbs that come to the surface from the depths of these tunnels. Yes, this is a real tomb, and these spheres are also depicted as birds in Egyptian frescoes. We will explain later why this is a tomb. Yes, these are all human-winged or flying energy orbs. The human soul is energetic and quantum in nature and takes the form of a cloud and light that our eyes cannot see. It can appear and disappear. Solid objects pose no obstacle to the soul. We suffer from biblical blindness, but surely you have seen videos on the internet showing human souls leaving the body. Let's take a look at some of these videos.
Video of the last few minutes of Dad's life. Mom had been with him throughout the night and heard the death rattle, but she went on to bed, and suddenly I woke up at 6 o'clock, checked on Dad, and went in to talk to Mom and said, I think it's the very end. She said to go ahead and sit with him myself. She doesn't even remember saying anything to me, so I think Dad waited until she was gone to be able to, so he could die. I sat down with him and held his hand, and you can hear the death rattle at 6:20, I think, is whenever he can see his spirit, something glowing, go up and then take a right. So and there's also other flashes throughout the room. If you just take a look.
This is a video from Mark Noonan's channel, and I'm glad something like this appeared on YouTube. People are afraid of death. They don't talk about it. But death is part of our lives. It is the final stage, the dying of our bodies. But this is not the end. It is merely liberation from the physical vessel. consciousness detaches itself and leaves the body in the form of a glowing human orb. This is probably the light at the end of the tunnel that people see. In this form, we are invisible to the world until we incarnate into another body, a physical vessel, and all our memories are permanently blocked deep within our consciousness. And it is precisely in this oblivion that one part of death lies. From the situation in the video, you can feel the son's love for his father. And that is true biblical last rites, a confession of last respect and love for a dying person. Because according to the Bible, the human heart is a lamp, and if it is filled with love, it is filled with oil, and it's shining. A person never leaves alone. In their final moments, other shining orbs arrive as companions and escorts. Because we are all merely visitors to these human vessels. Just as we entered our mother's womb at conception, so too do we leave it at the moment of death. If the physical body was created, it must also be brought to life. And with the wear and tear of the body and its decay, we depart. You have probably noticed the flying orbs. We will take a closer look at them later. People say that angels leave the body, but that's not entirely true. This human sphere still has a long journey of incarnations ahead of it, before it becomes a true angel, until the biblical end times arrive and the ascension or transformation that has been talked about so much lately. Not only of humanity, but of all living things on earth takes place.
Oh, join the group, Dad. You got Grandma, Grandpa Newman, you got Edith, Leon, Jeanette, stay with them. Go on to heaven with Dad and the group. You can let Uncle Bill go. You can let it be fine. Let Debbie go. Everybody will be fine. It's time for you to go and get it. So I'm going to take some light and go and get your batteries charged so you can always come back. All together.
Did you see that?
All come together with the people. Be seated.
We are probably looking at a guide. This orb appeared at the moment before death. And here is the end. The guides are coming from the right. And now it's happened, top left. However, we do not only observe these human orbs on Earth, but also bright lights in the sky that move like agile fish. Isn't it beautiful? What is this? What if I told you that they are people as God created them? Real angels? Don't believe it? Yes, they are angels. Those are the lights in the sky. Have you ever wondered why so many similar videos suddenly appear? As if it had been filmed on purpose. The videos are real, and it seems that quantum physics works in space. Or is there magic involved? We don't have to look far for proof. The Emerald Tablets mention these people in the sense that they live among us, but we don't recognize them. The boundless radiance of Thoth is nothing other than the radiance of the human soul. In Egypt, its symbol was the veil of the so-called pharaoh. It was not a head covering, but we will get to that in some of the other videos. Yes, we are talking about real angels, people who have already undergone ascension or transformation a long time ago. The angelic form gives a person freedom of movement, the ability to change shape, materialize, and conversely transform into light. Nothing in this world limits them. That light that each of us has in the form of an aura. That is also the difference between a human orb trapped in the cycle of incarnations and an angel. How would you like that? But not everyone will succeed. It depends greatly on how you have lived your life here on Earth, because they too come from Earth, which is unique in this respect. With empathy, With love? With honesty? Then you've won. Animals also have souls. Their bodies could not live. How do you think Noah saved so many animals? It certainly wasn't on the ship. They survived thanks to their spirit. If your pet has died, believe that it has become a little sweet angel. How do you like it? However, in addition to bright souls and lights in the sky, we also have shadows here, souls of people without light. You can recognize them by their lack of emotion and empathy. They are cold, practical, usually very intelligent, and above all selfish, craving power and control over others. Perhaps you have them in your governments and other high positions, but not in the form you see now. They need a human form. This is the other side of this world, and you will find mention of these shadows again in the Emerald Tablets. It is dark energy that Thoth mentions, which even replaced kings in Atlantis. That is presidents. Having this entity in the house is not a win. These shadows literally steal bodies as if they stole your personal car. They completely change your character. Always keep in mind that human nature is energetic, just like theirs. It occurs to me that exorcism might have been better than today's psychologists, psychiatrists, and chemical pills. Don't you find something strange about that? Do you notice what is happening in the world? How is violence and anger growing among people? We keep hearing about secret clubs, child abductions, bloody rituals, human trafficking, and abuse. However, all this is written in texts that are supposedly 36,000 years old and relate to Atlantis. Are we at the end of time? The world may already be standing on the brink of disaster, but we are not yet. By the way, are you afraid of Satan? Personally, I find Satanists amusing. Many of them don't even know what they worship. However, this is not very favorable for us, but it's not tragic either. We will talk about Satan next time and see how we actually come into this world and into a new body. Until then, you can think about it. Have a wonderful day, evening, and night, everyone.
Know, O man, that light is thine heritage. Know that darkness is only a veil. Sealed in thine heart is brightness eternal, waiting the moment of freedom to conquer, waiting to rend the veil of the night.